Hello and welcome to James Hill Sports. It's a pleasure to be with my main man. He is on the highest of seven hills. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Coach Willie Simmons, and you know him from FAMU football. It's all about the Rattlers. Coach, how are you and the family doing these days?
Everyone's doing well, James. Excited to be on tonight.
Thank you so much. Talk a little bit about your football team. You're talking about a football team that is on a 5-game winning streak. Student athletes, guys are playing their hearts out, and they're working on their educational endeavors, and that's a beautiful thing. Talk a little bit about your football team.
Yeah, this season obviously didn't start on the best of notes for us. We dropped our first two out the gate to the University of North Carolina in a hard-fought game up in Chapel Hill, amidst a lot of adversity. And then the next week, had our worst performance as a football team during our time here, in an embarrassing loss to Jackson State. And so we had to do a lot of soul searching, after dropping those first two games and really figure out who we wanted to be as a football team, what we stood for, and what our foundation really was. And I commend these guys for really pulling together, not doubting the process, continuing to believe in their staff and themselves, and in what we're trying to do. And since then, we've been able to roll off 5 straight wins. The last 2 have been nail biters, come down to the last possession. And our defense is playing really good football right now. And again, just excited to be able to lead these young men because they're showing their resilience, they're showing their character, their resolve throughout this year. And that's not only going to take us a long way in football, but ultimately take these young men very far in life. And that's really what it's all about. So I'm honored to be their head coach, excited to lead them. And this bye week, we'll take full advantage of it before we come back home again, to take on the University of Pine Bluff for homecoming.
Coach, after the first week was a great showing in Chapel Hill. Week 2 was not the showing you wanted down in South Florida at the Hard Rock Stadium, the home of the Hurricanes and also the home of the Dolphins. And it was a showdown with Jackson State. And then you come back home to the highest of 7 hills. The final score is FAMU 23, Albany State 13. Take us back to week 3. I know it's been a while. And what were some of your takeaways as you kind of shift gears, so to speak, and started clicking, if you will?
Yeah, well, coming off the loss to Jackson, we knew we had a tough opponent rolling in the Bragg for our first home game. Albany State is the defending SIAC champions, and even though they're a Division II program, they had one of the top defenses in all of FCS, all of Division II football this past season. And I think they had gone a streak there where they hadn't allowed a touchdown in conference, which is something that's unprecedented. And so we knew that they'd come in and play us extremely hard. We knew we needed a win. And so our guys really worked hard that week. We started the game kind of slow, but then came out of halftime able to put some things together. Jeremy finally settled down and made some plays. And we were able to contain them, on the offensive side of the ball and come away with a much-needed victory to extend our winning streak at the time to, I think, 11 games or 12 games, which was tied for the third longest in the nation. And, again, gave us some momentum going into the bye week.
Coach, the week after that, you look at FAMU 38, Alabama A&M 25, a new look for the Bulldogs. Mr. Glass is not there in the pocket, but Coach is still there in his ball club. Take us into the actually the Alabama A&M game and what that was like.
Yeah, again, another home game. So our guys have really have shown over the last few years that we can play really good football here at Bragg, particularly on defense. I think we're averaging somewhere close to less than 10 points a game given up on defense during this 13 or 14 game home winning streak. And so another strong showing by the defense really held those guys. Aside from a long quarterback run they had right before halftime, we pretty much shut their offense out. They got a late score there with the backups in the game. And we made some really, really big plays in the passing game. Jeremy hit Xavier Smith on a few big plays. Jamari Shareed, finally got healthy and had a big game. David Manigo made a few plays. And so, again, the Rack Boys 2.0 really came to play that week, being that they gave us a lot of man coverage. So it was really good to see us throw the ball around the yard that way. Haven't really done that really since 2019. And, again, kind of gave us a little bit of what our identity will have to be moving forward, which is probably a pass first team that sets up the run because, again, we're a much stronger passing team right now than we are running.
The next game after that we want to look at happened on October 1st. FAMU Rattlers 34, Mississippi Valley, the Delta Devils 7, the final. When you think about that particular contest, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, again, I thought those guys. I thought we came out fast. I think that was the first game that we scored on our first drive, which was something that we really wanted to emphasize. Just having a fast start. Defensively, again, played another stellar game. Only gave up 7 points, and so that's a testament to the job that those guys are doing on that side of the ball. Isaiah Land had a big game. Isaiah Major is playing at an all-conference level as a linebacker, and our secondary is really starting to come together to be a formidable group. And so, again, just a lot of great things they're doing on that side of the ball. Special teams really really increased their level of play during that week. And then offensively, we did enough, right? We still haven't had that breakout game offensively, that 40-point explosion, 450, 500-point, yard, output. But we're being efficient. We're not turning the ball over very much. And, we're helping play complementary football. And at this point, that's really what our goal is as a team, to play complementary football. And right now, special teams and our defense are our strong suits. And then offensively, we just got to continue to play smart football until we can kind of figure out how to run the ball a little bit better and be a little bit more multidimensional, as opposed to just right now being able to throw it really well.
Coach, coming off that 3-game winning streak, you take the Rattlers on the road. You go into Orangeburg and you see the defending HBCU national champions and coach Mr. Buddy Pugh and the Bulldogs of South Carolina State, a team that you're familiar with and you've had success with last year and also this year. And of course, we know that Buddy Pugh is the dean and obviously the MEAC, but take us into the home of the Bulldogs and what that experience was like for you this year.
Well, after 3 straight home wins that gave us some momentum, we had to show that we can win on the road. And obviously going into Orangeburg, taking on the defending MEAC and Celebration Bowl champions, South Carolina State, in their first home game was something that we knew would be a tall task for us. And so it was just that. We were fortunate enough to jump out to an early 17-0 lead. And then, we had 2 untimely turnovers that gave them life and got them right back in it. And so we looked up and it went from 17-0 to 17-14 pretty quickly there in the fourth quarter. And we were able to get a field goal to extend it to 20-14. And they got the ball back, with a little under 2 minutes left to drive the ball down the field to try to score. And our defense stood up big, made some tremendous plays, really stood hard in the paint, and kept those guys out of the end zone. Big 4th down stop to preserve the victory. So that was a huge win for our program. A big win on the road against a tough South Carolina State football team. And it showed that we can play gritty on the road and really be able to establish ourselves as one of the best teams in Black college football.
Coach, the next stop, the Grambling State University, the final score on Saturday, October 15th, FAMU 20, Grambling State Tigers 16. Take us into Grambling, the home of the G-men, if you will, the legacy of Eddie Robinson and obviously Coach Hugh Jackson turning that program around. But take us into Grambling State.
Well, it was great to be a part of a game that featured, in my opinion, the 2 blue bloods of Black college football. When you talk about Grambling State University and Florida A&M, the names Eddie Robinson and Jake Gaither will forever ring in FAMU. In college football lore. 2 giants, 2 larger-than-life figures who meant so much to their respective teams and universities and communities, and in the game of football. And so to be a part of that legacy, to travel up to the Hole, a place that's very difficult to win in. I think they hadn't lost there since 2017, and to be able to go in and pull out a tough 20-16 win, again, for the second week in a row, defense really standing up big when they needed to, getting a huge stop there on the last drive. And so it kind of mirrored the South Carolina State game, built a comfortable lead, had 2 special teams mishaps. This time it was special teams and not offense that gave them 14 points. And we found ourselves in a dogfight once again. And so, again, but it shows character and resilience and resolve from these guys that they didn't panic during that last drive. We had some guys go down with injury and some cramping issues and things of that nature. And we had some guys that had to really step up and be big-time players for us in situations that maybe they hadn't anticipated. And so that just shows, again, their character, that next man up mentality that we talk about. And they were able to come in and play really good football and preserve the win. Isaiah Land didn't play in the game after sustaining an injury versus South Carolina State, and someone had to pick up that slack. And Kamari Stevens came in and had 3 sacks in that game. And so again, those guys are really, really playing at a high level. They're raising their level of play, their expectations on the defensive side of the ball, and that's really encouraging to see. And when you have a strong defense, it allows you to again play complementary football offensively and in the kicking game, and not have to take too many chances. So hopefully we can continue to play at a high level defensively, and then offensively we can continue to get better during this bye week. And when we take the field again, be able to have one of those explosive games where we throw the ball really well, but also establish a solid ground game to complement the passing game.
Coach, the SWAC East, Jackson is undefeated. You guys are right there knocking at the door, 5-2 overall, 3-1. And Alabama A&M is also 3-1. But just talk about how competitive it is. And it's always competitive, whether it be the SWAC or the MEAC or anywhere on Saturdays. When they put that football down at scrimmage, it's time to play. Talk a little bit about how competitive the SWAC is.
Well, one thing that excited us about coming into the SWAC, in 2021 was how competitive the league is from top to bottom. And you look at, the Eastern Division, like you said, you got a Jackson State team that's ranked, I think, 6th in the nation in FCS. You have us sitting right there with 1 loss to them and into a Power 5 program in North Carolina. You have Alabama A&M, who their losses are to us, and some tough FCS programs, and then also a couple of FBSs. And so, again, it's a very, very competitive. Alabama State's playing really good football on that side. And even though Mississippi Valley hadn't won a game, they're not a team that you can take for granted. Extremely, extremely tough football team. And even our, the rival down the road that we don't speak of very often, they're playing, tough, hard-nosed football as well. So any given Saturday, you have to be ready to bring your best and bring your A game, because again, you can very easily be on the losing side of the scoreboard if you're not prepared to play. And so we know the SWAC is strong. The Western Division has some strong teams there. Southern's playing really good ball right now. Alcorn State's really tough. Prairie View's playing really well. And even Grambling, like I said, with their 1-6 record, has been in the last few ball games they played. And you see the maturation and the development of their team. So this is a great league from top to bottom. And I think it's great for our fans to know that every week they're going to be in competitive football games. And I think that kind of helps our argument that the SWAC is one of the toughest and best conferences in all of FCS football.
Coach, every football team in America has a bye week. Sometime they come at different times of the season. Is this a good time for a bye week for the Rattlers? I mean, you guys are rolling. Is this a good time for a bye week?
Yeah, I think it's a great time. We're a little banged up right now. Isaiah Land, obviously, again, suffering from a knee injury. A few other guys on the defensive line, the defensive side of the ball that need to rest up a little bit. And so it gives us a chance to get more guys healthy. Football's a grueling season, and it's extremely difficult to get through an entire season without significant injuries. And so we're going to use this bye week to the best of our ability. We're going to get healthy. We're going to get caught up in the classroom. We're going to do some recruiting and try to get ahead in that area. And we're even going to let the young guys tee it up a little bit and see what they can do, because a lot of those guys are redshirting and not playing many snaps. And so, but again, bye weeks are part of college football. You have to prepare for them. But our guys could use a little bit of a break right in the middle of the season, knowing that we have, 4 more really, really tough games coming up, with the first one being Arkansas Pine Bluff for homecoming.
Coach, what do you know about Pine Bluff with Coach Doc? And then also you look at Skylar Perry, and he can throw it around. He can go. And then you look at their running attack with Mr. Britton, and they have some guys that can go get the ball. What do you know about the Golden Lions?
Well, you just said it. They're prolific on offense. They have some really, really good players. Their quarterback's one of the most dynamic guys in our conference. The running back's one of the top rushers in the conference. And like I said, they have some receivers that can really go get the ball. So it's going to be a great challenge for our defense. We gave up 100 yards rushing to Grambling's quarterback last week. So we definitely have to make sure that we're able to contain the quarterback, keep him in the pocket, know where he is at all times, and really put pressure on them. They're running the ball extremely well. that's an area that we pride ourselves in, is being able to stop the run. So again, it's a great matchup on paper, and then for us offensively, we gotta be able to produce and give our defense a chance to play with a lead, as opposed to having to always bail us out there in the end. And so, but Doc Gammel's a great coach. He's a great friend. He and I worked together on that Alcorn staff back in 2013 together, or 2012 together. And again, I know he's going to have his team ready to play. And so, they'll come in here. No one wants to be in one's homecoming. So that'll be their added motivation to come in and try to spoil our homecoming. They're all aware of the win streak that we have here at Bragg, and I'm sure they know about the game day environment that we have here. And so they'll come in with a lot of life, a lot of energy. But I know Rattler Nation will be here as well, and can't wait to get out there in pregame and see just how exciting this crowd is going to be, because again, homecoming at FAMU is like none other.
Coach, you just alluded to it. Talk a little bit about homecoming on the highest of 7 hills. Take us back to some of your fond memories of homecoming. And I can think about some of the homecomings that I know about there at FAM. I remember Grambling and in certain games over the years, but talk about just Bragg and stadium upgrades, and it's a sight to see, man. It's unforgettable.
Yeah, there's not many things that you can compare to a FAMU homecoming. Not just the game, but the week leading up to the game, with all the festivities, the concerts, the parties, the National Alumni Association meetings, you name it. It's just a way for our strong alumni base to come back to the highest of 7 hills and really just show FAMU how much it means to us, and just give this city back a little bit of what we took from it, during the college years. And I say we because even though I didn't attend FAM, I spent many weekends and days on this campus, as a high school and college student. And so again, but just a great time. The parade, the tailgating, the vendors, Perry Street, Wanish, you name it. Anything you need, from apparel to food to amazing drinks, to music, you name it, you'll be able to get it here, on that week. So just a great spectacle to be a part of. And last year's was it was epic. Again, it was something that I don't think I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. And looking forward to seeing if we can bring that same energy this year. I know tickets are already hard to come by if they haven't sold out already. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, good luck, because they're going to be hard to find. But just looking forward to seeing this stadium rocking. DJ Lou's Kid, the Marching 100, our phenomenal student section, even the alumni side, just really getting behind this football team and continuing to push, knowing that, again, we are supporting one of the nation's longest home winning streaks. And I know it's something that everyone here is extremely proud of.
Coach, the thought process on homecoming, they say it's for everyone else but the football teams. And then the football teams can enjoy it afterwards. What does that look like, and how do you process that?
Well, that's exactly the message that I give the guys, right? The festivities will start probably on Sunday, right? And so they'll last throughout the week. But for us, homecoming starts on Sunday of that week, but it culminates on that Saturday afternoon with the football game. And so with all the fun, with all the partying, with all the networking that will occur, during that week, no one wants to leave with that sour taste in their mouth. The football team is lost, right? And so, all of the fun, all the things that we've done throughout that week are all for naught if the football team doesn't take care of business. And so for us, we have to remind the guys that, we are the show on that Saturday. We're the close to a phenomenal week. It's kind of like a concert. You got your performers that come out, before and really get the crowd going. But then you bring out the headliner, right? And everyone's there to see the headliner, and the headliner can't fall flat on his face, right? And so as a football team, we are the headliner of, us in the Marching 100. And so I know they'll be prepared to give a phenomenal halftime show, and our football team will have to be prepared to give 4 quarters of great football. And then if we can come away with a great win and a great halftime performance, it'll be the icing on the cake for what will be just an amazing week of festivities here on the highest of 7 hills in Tallahassee.
Coach, the conversation of postseason play. All teams worth their salt want to play for titles, championships, league championships, and that sort of thing. when you think about the FCS playoffs and the national picture, what goes through your mind in terms of building a body of work and returning, if you will, and playing another game or games in that particular championship series to play for the crown? And FAMU has won the national championship before. So like you told me before, everything's been done at FAM, but let's do it again. You can do it again. Talk a little bit about the thought process of a playoff run.
Well, it's a gift and a curse. Losing the first game to Jackson State obviously knocks us, not out of contention, but really puts us behind the 8 ball as far as, winning the Swac East Division. Jackson's playing really good football right now. Again, they're currently ranked in the FCS top 10 in all the major polls. And, I think it would be very tough for them to lose 2 games, which is what they would need to lose in conference. And we went out for us to have a chance to represent the Swac East in the Swac Championship game. And so because of the realistic possibilities that we will not be able to play in the Swac Championship and win a outright Swac Championship, we have to position ourselves to be an at-large playoff team. As we all know, the Swac doesn't get an automatic qualifying bid. And so that means that we have to be voted upon by the selection committee. And we know to do that, we have to play really good football. And we have to have some compelling arguments there. The fact that we went to the playoffs last year, I think helps. But the fact that we didn't perform very well in that playoff game, I don't know if that still, resonates in the back of people's minds. And so again, we just want to show that we're one of the top 24 teams in America, that we deserve a chance to play for an outright FCS championship. And we feel like if we can continue to play good ball and win games, that we'll be in the same position we were last year. Hopefully with a strong enough record, a strong enough resume to warrant being on that selection committee as one of the at-large teams. And the experience that we got last year, I think, will bode well for us moving forward, if indeed that becomes a reality. But even though that's a goal of ours, our focus right now is getting better during this bye week. And the next game we play against Pine Bluff, we just have to try to be 1-0 because, again, we can't worry about late November if we don't take care of late October. And so that's our focus as of today.
Coach, talk a little bit about your skill players with skill positions. Jeremy is in the house, so to speak. He can throw it around. You look at Xavier Smith, he can go get it. Mr. Jennings. I mean, you guys can move the ball and move the chains. Talk a little bit about your offensive attack in Rattlers football.
Well, since we're here in the state of Florida, we definitely want to take advantage of the speed and the talent that this state provides. And so when you look at our receiver core with Xavier Smith leading the way, having an All-American caliber year, top 10 nationally in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Jamarie Sharee, K-Dot, really coming into his own, 200-yard games in the last 3, really playing great football. David Manigo using his length and size to win on the perimeter. Like you talked about Jeremy, with his ability to throw the football. He's got a stream of arm talent, really good leader of this offense, and it's getting better every single week. And then in the backfield, the 3-headed monster of Terrell Jennings, Jalen McLeod, and AJ Davis, 3 big backs that are bruisers, that really wear teams down in the second half. And so we have a really good nucleus of skill guys, even our tight ends, with their ability to make plays in the passing game. And so right now we're just trying to shore up some things on the offensive line. I think the talent's there. Just got to continue to be a little bit more consistent, commit ourselves to running the football when we have to, and really giving ourselves the best chance to be successful on offense. If we can do that, again, I think we'll play the complementary type football that we need to be able to assist our strong defense and as well as our special teams units.
Coach, defensively, without getting into your schemes, you guys can load the box, you can drop back, you can cover 2, you can do a lot of different things. You have linebackers. You guys can give a lot of different looks and formations, but just talk about the defensive side of the ball. It's that defense is stingy, and it's a long day on Saturdays for people if they don't have on a FAMU jersey.
Well, we really try to make sure that we're strong in all 3 levels, and it starts up front with the defensive line. And so obviously Isaiah Land, is the alpha male in that group, leading the charge. And his, the games he's played in, has played extremely well. Doesn't have the production that he had last season, but obviously that's because teams are scheming for him. So opposite him, you have Kamari Stevens, who's really coming to his own. 6 sacks, I think 5 in the last 3 games, and so he's really playing football at a high level. And then when you look at the interior with General Hunt, Stanley Mentor, Donald Hall, Richard Summers, and those guys, we're able to roll fresh bodies in for 4 quarters, and that's really, really important in the second quarter and the fourth quarter. When the game gets tight and fatigue starts to set in, the more fresh bodies you can roll in on the D line, the better. And so, we're really trying to create depth there. Our linebacker unit is playing really good football right now. Isaiah Major, again, is playing at an all-conference level. I think he's the 3rd leading tackler in the conference. Johnny Chaney is really, really playing good football right now. And even Darius Fagan, the elder statesman of the group, is having a solid year as well. So to have 3 linebackers that can play downhill, that can play sideline to sideline, really, really allows our defense to be very multiple. And then in the secondary, again, just finding the right combination of 5. We already knew about B.J. Bowler, but Courtney Cox on the other side of him is playing phenomenal football right now. Javen Morgan at safety, is leading the team in interceptions. Even on the weak side, Tim Williams has been a guy that has really, really stepped up in a big role, filling the shoes of Marquise Bell, in that boundary safety position. And Eric Smith coming back off injury last season and manning that nickelback position. So those 5 guys are playing really good ball, but then you throw in Kendall Bowler, Winston Frazier, Lovey Jenkins, and some of those other key backups that are playing quality reps as well. And again, it gives us a lot of depth, a lot of athleticism, and keeps our guys fresh so that, again, when those games get down to crunch time, that we're in better condition than the other team. And that's something that we pride ourselves on. And as long as we can stay healthy and get guys back that we've lost the last couple of weeks to injury, we think we'll continue to play better ball than we've been playing now, and be able to show that strong top 10 level defense that we played in 2021.
Coach, the highest of 7 hills, when we look at the prestigious position in the pantheon of athletic directors, Tiffany Don Sykes, talk about what you see with leadership, and it's always a beautiful thing to have a great athletic director.
Well, obviously, with the transition that we had this year with Courtney Gaucher moving on to Tulane, there was a huge void there in the athletic department. Interim AD Michael Smith Sr. Stepped in admirably and did a phenomenal job of keeping the ship going and really bringing the coaches together, the administration together, and just bridging that gap, between athletics in our university. And so I think that we're on solid footing now, and I really believe Ms. Sykes is coming into a great situation. Are there adversities? Of course, but there are adversities everywhere. Do we have some opportunities to do some great things? We sure do. Yeah, but I know she's very excited. She brings a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and as well as a wealth of knowledge and contacts, to this position. So we're very, very excited about bringing her here. We're very, very big on diversity and inclusion here at Florida A&M, and to have the first full-time woman athletic director here is an amazing thing. And she's a football fan. She spent some time in the Swac during her time at Grambling State, so she's all familiar with this conference and some of the ins and outs of it. During her time, at Dartmouth, she's obviously rubbed elbows with a lot of influential people. Raised money from some pretty deep pockets, and so I think she'll be able to bring a lot of the things that we need here within this athletic department to the table. And so again, we're excited. She won't start officially to January 4th. Interim AD Mike Smith will continue to lead this athletic department until then. But again, we're really, really optimistic about where we're headed as an athletics department. And our sports teams are really performing well right now. The volleyball team, obviously, I think 18 straight wins in conference play. My golf team just won a tournament. Obviously, football is playing really, really well right now. Even bowling and softball are really ramping up. So, again, a lot of positive things, a lot of momentum, some great recruitment of student athletes coming in. And we're just looking forward to trying to build the best athletic department, not only in the Swac, but Division I football. So, Division I. And so, again, we're excited about Miss Sykes coming in, and we want to make sure that when she steps foot on campus, that we welcome her with open arms, and that we show her a group of young men and women who aspire for greatness and excellence, and that's what this university's model is all about.
Coach, HBCU football is in a great place. Talk a little bit about Swac football and FAMU football as we move forward. It's only 4 weeks left in the season. I know that's hard to believe, but here we are.
Well, yeah, we knew coming into the season that this was probably the most anticipated SWAC season in quite some time. With what Coach Prime has done at Jackson State, signing the #1 overall recruit in America. With FAMU, signing the LeBron James apparel deal, even Howard University, inking with Jordan Brand. Just the exposure that we're all getting. Our documentary last season, Why Not Us? The national exposure that HBCUs are getting now is truly unprecedented, right? And that's attributed to a lot of things. Obviously, we have a great commissioner. Dr. Charles McClellan really has a great vision for this conference and has really, pushed the envelope and really got into a lot of, meetings and offices and closed doors that we haven't been able to in the past. And we're blazing the trail moving forward. We're really trying to secure TV deals and, to get distributions and really position this conference to be a premier conference on the national scale, not just here regionally. So with strong brands like FAMU and Jackson State and Grambling and Southern and some of those blue bloods, and all us playing pretty good football and continuing to hire coaches like Deion Sanders and Hugh Jackson to bring and raise more awareness, I think is only great for this conference. And I'm excited about the future of it. I'm excited to be a part of it. And again, can't wait to see what's in store for the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Hey, Coach, if the NFL or a Power 5 called you, would that be something that you would entertain, or would you like to stay on the highest of Seven Hills?
Well, during my lifetime, I've been told to never say no to an opportunity. Never hurts to talk, right? And so, obviously with the changing landscape of collegiate athletics and football in general, in this case, with success comes interest, right? And we've been fairly successful here at FAMU. I'm not blind and oblivious to the fact that my name has come up on some lists as an up and coming coach in this profession, as a guy who should be in consideration for quote unquote bigger jobs. And so, with those opportunities comes choices. And so, like I told my administration last year, when another institution reached out and showed interest, I love it here at Florida A&M, right? I'm 20 minutes away from home. I get to see my entire family. My grandmother, last living grandmother, is right down the road. And so I get to go there and eat Sunday dinner and get to hang out with my siblings and my aunts and uncles, down and have a good time. And so I want to be able to provide, the lifestyle for my family that I feel they deserve. I want to be able to provide the lifestyle for my coaches that we feel they deserve. And I want to be able to provide the resources to our student athletes that I feel they deserve. And so if we can do those things here, there's really no reason for me to go anywhere, right? Because again, everything that I aspire to do in this life, I can do it if we have the resources, if we have the means. And that's what we're pushing for every single day. We're trying to push the envelope. We know we're in understanding we're a low resource institution, but we got to continue to push the envelope and kick the door down, much like Jackson State's doing, much like Grambling's doing, much like a lot of programs are doing now, much like Kennesaw State has just done, making the transition from an FCS program to, Conference USA, James Madison, App State, Georgia Southern, all of those teams. And so there are opportunities to continue to raise the profile and brand of Florida A&M. And I think that can be done through athletics. And so if those things are able to come to fruition, again, I fully intend to have my statue built right there beside Jake Gaithers when it's all said and done. But, again, I'm a firm believer that, the good Lord opens doors that no man can close, and that he closes doors that no man can open. And so when he sees fit for me to coach my last game at Florida A&M, then he'll make that perfectly clear, right? If that's in 3 months, that's in 3 months. If that's in 25 years, that's in 25 years. And I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to job search. I never have. I never look for jobs. I'm blessed to have the one that I'm currently sitting in. And this is the best place in America because it's the place that gives me an opportunity to do what I love to do. And as long as I can do that and provide the lifestyle that I want for my family and provide the opportunity that I have to these young men to be great, I'm going to relish that, right? And so, in short answer, if someone calls, we'll talk, and with those talks, what does that bring as far as FAMU goes? Does that give us leverage to go in and ask for more things? Because I would hope that they don't want to lose me, right? We're doing fairly well here, and I would love to stay. But when competition comes, unfortunately, a little bit of bidding, right? And so, and not for me. If I can parlay a job opportunity into more resources for these young men, then that's what I want to do. More opportunities for my coaching staff, then that's what I want to do. It's not about Willie Simmons. It never has been. It's about Florida A&M University. It's about the men and women who bleed, who sweat, who cry for this institution. And it's about these young men on this football field who give